Oh yeah, what a beautiful day to ride. Let's get to the trails, man. Oh, no. Is that? Son of a b-. In today's episode, we're gonna be fixing this bike again. Recently, I rebuilt these forks and I did something incorrect. And today, we're gonna fix that. Right, so just to give you a better representation of what's going on here, this is where all your seals are gonna be, right here. There is a shaft on the inside that has a bolt going through the bottom to connect the shaft. I didn't tighten that bolt as much as I should, and now every ride I get home, and not as much on this one, but the other one, I get home and I got fluid on the bottom of it. So the game plan for today is I'm going to pop the top of the forks off. I'm gonna see if I can get my special tool down there without draining any of the fluid out. Now, obviously on the right one, I did lose a good amount of fluid. You can see that there's a good buildup of old fluid right there. I do have 2 bottles. They're not all the way full. So what we're going to do is try to tighten these up without having to drain all the oil out. So basically what happens is the shaft in here, it has this bolt right there. It's an Allen that screws it into the shaft and secures it in the tube of the fork. If you don't tighten that enough and you need to tighten it more, you can't just put an Allen on the bottom of that and try to spin it, because the whole thing is just gonna spin internally. So what you gotta do is you gotta take the cap of the fork off and you gotta stick a tool down in there, and it's about right here is where that shaft starts. So inside of that shaft on the top of it, there's an indentation for this pattern. Now, Yamaha sells a special tool. I don't know where to find that tool. I don't wanna research it. I don't wanna have to pay for it. So I've done this in the past. You guys have seen me do this before. And it's basically just a bunch of extensions butting up to the piece that I need it to be. Now, I think this is a spark plug socket, and basically what you can do is some of them have a square hole throughout the whole piece. That allows you to turn it around and put it on through the inside of the actual socket. Now, without any more talking, let's go ahead and pop the tops off of these tubes and see what we can't do. So we're gonna see if we can get away with not having to take any bars off or anything like that. We shouldn't have to do any of that stuff, but it is a pretty tight area and you definitely need that off. So one thing you do need to keep in mind when taking these off is they are spring loaded, so it can be scary at times. Come on, boy. All right, guys, on the last few threads of these things, you gotta be super careful because this thing will pop off quicker than you can even think to catch it. So cap. Take that off and put it to the side. And then what you're gonna have come out is a spacer and a cap on the bottom of the spacer. And then you got your spring. We should be able to get it out. And if I were to drain the oil, I know 100% that all of you would be like, that oil is disgusting. You need to change that. You guys, I changed this oil and the seals not that long ago. The oil should still be good, and it looks like we barely have any in there, which is not good. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to drain this and reuse what comes out of it. Let me think for a minute. First off, let's try to get this shit tightened up. And you also need the same size Allen as the bottom. It might help if I had the same size Allen as the bottom. All right, let's see if this fits. Sweet. All right, so once you have the spring, the spacer, and the washer out, what you're gonna wanna do is get your little homemade tool. Like I said, this is all in extensions. I just wanted to make sure that each of these ends has tape on them just in case, God forbid, one of them disconnect and it fall down in the fork tube to never be seen again. I'm having trouble getting the socket to lock down. It keeps wanting to slip. I was using the wrong part. So basically this is what I needed, and this is what I have connected, which is honestly looking the same, but this one is tapered a little bit more. You guys are probably confused why I have a mask on now. It is a bit chilly outside and my hair was kind of pissing me off, and this is the closest thing I had to a hat, so there you go. Let's go ahead and drop this thing back in. Oh yeah, dropped right in. It's in there 100%. There is no wiggle room. It's not slipping. Oh, there we go. That tightened. I moved at least, I don't know, a quarter of a turn. I'd say she's good now, boys. That thing felt solid right there. All right, guys, the stage that I'm kind of at right now, forced with two options. Option number one, drain all the fluid out, measure it in with some leftover fluid that I have sitting back here. I got some 15 and some 10. I didn't like how the 10 felt, so I went with the 15. To be honest, it would probably be best for me to open up that other fork. Most dirt bikes or anything with tube suspension requires a certain amount of liquid per fork so that it can perform how it's supposed to perform, how they built it. Ew, I got oil on my finger. So it's 319 cc's of oil. 319 cc's is 319 milliliters. I'm gonna go ahead and take this 15 weight fork oil and see how much I got of it. It's gonna be okay. It seems like we're almost done draining all the fluid out. Take this lesson from me so that you don't have to make the same mistake yourself. And just remember that it's all right to make mistakes. Obviously, it's less ideal, but you can either take it as something that frustrates you or you can turn it into a learning lesson. Let's go ahead and put these screws back in, these drain screws. Bruh. I don't know if you guys just caught that, but son of a bitch. Got a quick, easy solution for this. There it is. All right, let's try this one more time. You don't want to get it to the point where you can never get it off again, though, so keep that in mind. But do make sure it's on there good. Get my special deschel tool. All right, I actually can't turn that one, so now that that's tightened up, let's get 319 cc's measured out for both forks, and we should be good to go. Like I said, I'm reusing this fluid. It's going to be dark because it was inside of something moving around with mechanical parts. And a lot of you don't agree with that, but it's not your bike, so don't worry about it. Now we can go ahead and start getting our parts, starting with your spring. I'm not gonna grab the other components just yet because it would make it harder for me to fill them up. And down the hatch. I'm gonna tighten that other screw up on the other side now. All right, that should be good to go, nice and filled up. Throw it in here for the time being so we don't make a mess. Make sure to wipe any contaminants off of your components. You don't want any pieces of debris or dirt or anything going inside. But you want to make sure you remember exactly how it goes. Just like that. Put this cap back on. Getting this piece down to the threads where it needs to go is a very difficult task. That feels cross-threaded. And it might do that to you a couple times. You're just gonna have to play around with it. Just get it to a point where it's on there nice and good. We'll come back and tighten that in a second. There's that good Yamaha soup.
Disgusting!
Go, 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 go. So now we'll just let that drink up for a minute. Make sure there's no air down trapped in there. So after your spring goes in, you're gonna have a spacer. Well, it's basically a metal cylinder spacer, and then you're gonna have this washer with a lip on it. And the way mine goes, I put the washer with the lip down, and then the spacer can go on. And now, shit me, I just spilled fluid everywhere. And now, we can put the cap back on. All right, there's one tightened. Uno más to go. And I keep spilling things. Get out my way, beach. They should not leak anymore because we tightened up those piston bolts. There's one more thing to do on this bike. Most of you actually saw what happened. I dropped the bike over and I broke the front brake lever. Now I do have a spare, but the way it fits is a little bit different from the aftermarket ones that I had on. It's in contact with some of these levers. It's not so bad on the clutch side, but on the front brake side it is a problem. We're gonna have to either do some trimming on this Acerbis handguard or just move some things around to see if we can't get it to fit. So first things first, let's get this thing off the stand. I actually got it up on the stand by myself. Let me know if you use the same strategy. All right, so now with the bike off the stand, you can see a little bit better what I'm talking about. So this little piece right here is coming in contact and not letting me close this 100%. And when I do, it gets stuck. So that's not good. So let's go ahead and see what we can do to fix it. I noticed that while trying to blinker the other day, only one side would flash, the other side would completely stay on. And I just found something that's probably the problem. And if you can't see, there is a little wire that's dangling. And if you look closer, there's actually a spot right here for it. Well, we're gonna test it out. Hopefully the bike doesn't catch on fire. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take it off, and then we're gonna do some trimming on it just to see if we can't make it fit, because no hand guards is not an option, especially the places that we go. All right, and just like that, our hand guard comes off. Come on out, there you go. All right, so as you can see, I already did a little bit of trimming, but this thing has to be trimmed down quite a bit to be able to fit. So let's power up the Dremel tool and see what we can't do. Must have your safety first. All right, y'all, so I'm feeling like I might have a little bit more room. If I scooch this over, might just be in luck. See if you can't shuffle on over here a little bit, just to give us just a tiny bit more room. So let's go ahead and tighten this back up. See what it looks like for fitment. Look at that. But then again, we still have to put this piece on. All right, let's put it back together, see if there's any sort of difference there. All right, guys, and just like that, we got it all worked out. Look at that. Jesus. All right, guys, so now that all the things are done that I wanted to get done on the bike today, I'm gonna take a quick little lunch break, and then we're gonna hop on it, go in the backwoods, hit a couple of things, and see how it does in terms of forks leaking and just in general. Let's go have some fun. So let me go get a bite to eat, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, and just like that, we're heading down to the bottom of a little bit of property that we got back in the backyard. Nothing crazy, but everything feels good so far. Come back up that a couple more times, maybe cross the creek. It is a little deep though, so I don't know how we gonna cross across. Yeah, see, it's just a little bit deep right there. Not interested in getting my feet wet. Feels a lot better than it did, I'm not gonna lie. It was getting a little soft, and the suspension was sticking at compression. I really need to clean this carburetor out. That's probably what I'll do for you guys next, because she's still sputtering after riding around for a good little bit. It should be 100% warmed up by now, but she's just cold-natured, boys. That's just how these old bikes are. But they are fun. This thing is nimble. It can get to where it wants to go at a very good pace. The weight is very well distributed. That ridge right there is what I like to come down here for. It's just so pretty. See if the bottom of our forks are soaked up with any fluid. All right, let's see what's going on. How'd you do? Oh, look at that, y'all. That was the main one that was leaking. Look at that. Super cool stuff, guys. Moral of the story, do not be afraid to work on your own stuff. If I would have taken this to a shop, yeah, it probably would have been done sooner, but I wouldn't have learned what I learned, and I probably would have spent more money. We got a lot planned for this channel coming up in the future, so you guys need to hit that subscribe button so you can stay tuned, and feel free to give me a like. It really helps the channel out and helps us grow a good bit. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Ew, I got oil on my finger. Jesus, look. Son of a bitch. Must have your safety first. There's that good Yamaha soup. Go, 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 go. Shit me, I just spilled fluid everywhere. Get out my way, beach.